And hello, everyone. Welcome to Lyndhurst Community News. Today is Wednesday, August 27th. Labor Day weekend's here, which marks the official end of the summer season. The kids go back to school. Life goes on. The weather's a lot cooler, that's for sure. And this is episode 97. We are now officially 3 episodes away from 100 episodes. That's pretty amazing. It's been about 3 years? No, not 3 years. It's 2.5 years, I believe. Yeah, I had begun this in March of 2023. And it's been a long ride. It's been a lot of fun. And this was my response because we have no local news. And the local section, I should say the Bergenite is no longer a local newspaper because they don't have the staff. They have no staff at all. What they do is they take the local news printed in the local section of the Record and they reprint it. And they barely have any reporters as it is. So we try to keep everybody informed about what's going on in town because we believe, and I believe, that what makes a community strong is not its buildings, roads, or bridges, which you hear me say at the end every week, but that it is its people. And this is a community of wonderful people, a very close-knit community. People who care about each other, who help one another, and I wouldn't live anywhere else. Anyway, we have a lot to get through today, folks. This is going to be one of the more lengthy episodes, only because it's got some very important information to get to. And first, I'll go through some of the general updates, the things going on around town. And then after that, I want to give you updates on what's going on with the Vivo property. That's the building on Valleybrook Avenue behind the Bogle building, right off of Stuyvesant Avenue, the old Vivo's restaurant. Many of you have been following that. I have the updates of what's going to be built, how much, and I'll let you know that after that. I also have a very important personal announcement I want to share with all of you at the end. In the meantime, though, I'd like to wish a very special 89th happy birthday to former Lyndhurst Mayor and State Senator Anthony Scardino. A wonderful gentleman, and we are so privileged to have him with us in this community. He's always stayed here. He's always been a wonderful member, always been helpful to everyone. And as I always say to him, what is your secret? You have found the fountain of youth. A wonderful gentleman, and I bless him. We all bless him and wish him a happy 89th to him, and we also wish love and best wishes to his wife, Madeline, as well. Okay, so remember, now, if you have anything going on with your church, your organization, your school, your team, whatever it may be, as well as birthdays and anniversaries of note, make sure you email them to us at lyndhurstcommunitynews@gmail.com. And that email address, as well as all other contact information that I mentioned, will be listed in the description box below the video on YouTube. Now, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Lyndhurst High School field, also known as the Joe Cipolla Memorial Field, the Golden Bears will face off against Westwood in the very first game of the season. So we're wishing the Bears a wonderful season. I will be catching up with the coach and some of the players like I usually do each fall to find out what's going on and what they see for the season ahead. And let's make sure we support them. So that's going to be this Thursday evening at 6 p.m. at the Lyndhurst High School field. Make sure it'll be a beautiful, cool night, folks. So put on that windbreaker. Fall is coming. Now, we have a bunch of things that were sent to me by Tarcisio Nunez of the Lyndhurst Police Emergency Squad, volunteer Lyndhurst Police Emergency Squad. They've got a lot of events coming up this fall, and let me go through them right now. So the first one is the Minecraft Movie Night and Zumba event. Now, that had to be rescheduled due to, I believe, inclement weather. The new date will be Wednesday, September 10th, so that will be the week after the first week of school. And they're going to turn it into a welcome back to school celebration. And they're going to kick it off the night with Zumba. And the Minecraft movie will follow right after. Now, they will have free popcorn while supplies last. And this is a free community event, so everyone is welcome. The next one is their Meatballs and Magic, an enchanted night of food, fun, and illusions. So get ready for a night of delicious eats and jaw-dropping entertainment at the Meatballs and Magic Night, the ultimate family-friendly dinner and magic experience hosted by the Lyndhurst Police Emergency Squad. Now, for just $30 a person, you're going to enjoy a hearty Italian-style dinner featuring pasta, homemade meatballs, salad, soda, water, coffee, and tea, and a sweet dessert finale. And for the magic, it begins right at your table. While you dine, professional magicians from Ring 113, the Lyndhurst chapter of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, which I did not know until recently we had one. They will amaze and amuse with close-up magic at your table, followed by a live stage magic show the whole room will love. Now, this is perfect for all ages, from wide-eyed kids to wowed grandparents. You are also welcome to bring your own beverage, so feel free to bring your own wine or beverage, adults only, of course. Space is limited, so secure your seat now for an unforgettable evening. This will be held at the Lyndhurst Senior Building on Cleveland Avenue. Okay, by the way, I will leave the link to get tickets in the description box, so you won't have to worry about that. All right, now, the final event, number 3, is the Murder Mystery Fundraiser, called Death of a Gangster. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be on Thursday, October 9th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now, the price is $65 a ticket. Again, I will leave that link in the description box. But join them for an unforgettable evening of old-style Italian food and interactive murder mystery theater. Death of a Gangster takes you to a 1920s speakeasy where secrets and power struggles turn deadly. Now, he asked if I would read the next part like an old-time gangster, so we'll see. We'll see how this comes out. All right. Okay, so not the type to trust these newfangled ticket contraptions? No problem, doll. If you'd rather settle up with cash, slip us a check, or reserve a whole table for your gang, just send a telegram or, an email to events@emergencysquad.com. We'll make sure your name's on the guest list at the Dunn Speakeasy. All right, that sounded more like Jimmy Durante and James Cagney. But anyway, Tarsiciel, I tried my best. Your tickets include a full dinner catered by Lyndhurst's very own Vinnie Mutz, as well as an interactive 2-hour mystery show, a photo booth, and costume contest prizes. Now, there is a dress code. Well, I can't force you to do this, but flapper wear and gangster attire or wedding chic is encouraged. If you don't have any of that, don't worry, just come. It is for adults. There's humor and there's innuendo, so it is recommended for ages 16 and up. And, of course, the proceeds benefit the Lyndhurst Police Volunteer Emergency Squad. Where will this be held? This will be held in the fire department, upstairs on the second floor in their big room. So, sounds like a lot of fun, folks. And remember, you are supporting our volunteer emergency squad when you do so. All right, and as I mentioned this 2 weeks ago on our last episode, we have the annual, I think it's the 4th annual Antique Car Show right here. Mayor Jan Giarrusso and the Board of Commissioners sponsoring this. This will be October 4th from 12 to 5 p.m. That's a Saturday. It'll be at the Delafield Avenue and the park, so they close off the street to line up all the cars. And if you have an antique car or you know someone who has an antique car, let them know, because you can just show up that morning at 9 a.m. to register. It's only $20 to register. And there will be food vendors there on site, as well as the cameos who will be performing on the stage in the park with live music. And we all in town know the cameos. They've been playing in Lyndhurst for 30-something years, I believe. Okay, now coming up also on that same day, Saturday, October 4th, will be the Legion's annual. This will be the 19th annual American Legion Clam Barbecue from 1 to 5 p.m. And this is presented by the Sons of the American Legion, Squadron 139. And you bring your own lawn chair. We always have the tent set up. We have tables and chairs brought in. And there will be, as usual, thousands of clams. They will be both steamed as well as on the half shell. But You may not like clams. Not everybody does. I happen to love them. But if you don't worry, because we also have sausage and peppers, burgers and dogs, as well as salads. There will be live music again, as we had last year. The Darla Hood Band will be playing favorite songs from yesteryear. And there'll be giveaways, raffles, as well as the annual cornhole off to the side there. We hold this right in the park in front of the American Legion building at 217 Webster Avenue. If you'd like tickets, call 201-933-4120. But you don't have to reserve them. You can come and pay when you get there. It's wide open to the community, so hopefully the weather will be good because there's a lot going on that day between the Antique Car Show and the Clam Lovers Barbecue. So hit one or hit both. It'll be a great day either way. And there will be another American Legion event taking place. This one is going to be a bus trip to Yankee Stadium. This will be on Wednesday, September 10th. This will be for the Yankees versus Detroit game. The bus will be leaving at 4 p.m. sharp. The tickets are $65 per person, which is great to be picked up and dropped off at Yankee Stadium. You can't beat that, folks, and you'll have a lot of fun in the bus on the way. There will be free refreshments on the bus. So for tickets, again, call the American Legion at 201-933-4120. And this event was organized by our very own Dave Pacelli, better known as Sluggo, who also tends bar down at the American Legion and is a member of the Sons of the American Legion. Okay, that's all I have in terms of events so far. Remember, if you have anything going on, make sure you email it to us. We will share it here every week so the community knows what's happening. But now I want to get into the big story here, and that is what's going to happen with the Vivo property. Many of you have been following this. You're aware of it, especially if you live in that area, Livingston Avenue, Valley Brook Avenue. So about 10 or 12 years ago, that property was sold to a developer. And he approached the township, came and made an application to the planning board to build 16 apartment units there. And the planning board voted him down. All the residents showed up, rightfully so, very angry, and the town voted them down. They said no. He then bought the house on the corner of Livingston and Valley Brook, and so he made the property larger by doing so. And he came back to the town with another application, and this was about, I think, 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. I might be wrong. Could have been sooner. For 20 units. So now you went from 16 to 20, but with a larger tract of land. Again, all the neighbors showed up, angry, and the planning board voted him down. They said no. Now, if you remember on this podcast, in the last year and a half, I have spent a great deal of time speaking about the New Jersey affordable housing laws and how they impact every single solitary place or town in New Jersey. And according to the state, we have an obligation to build as many as 366 affordable housing units in the township. Now, the problem I had said is that because of the law, what's called builder's remedy, a developer, if he's denied, can appeal to the county. And here's what happens. The judge will look at the number of affordable housing obligation units we have, in this case 366, and 99.999% of the time, the judge will always rule in favor of the contractor. Now, if he is awarded builder's remedy, then he's pretty much able to build whatever he wants. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And this is not, nobody in that neighborhood's going to like this. Nobody in this town is going to like this, and nobody who drives up and down Valley Brook Avenue, especially during rush hour, is going to like this. So, here's the settlement. This is the builder's remedy settlement. 30 units will be built there. Out of those 30, 4 units will be affordable. Now, you understand what's happening, folks? If our obligation is 366, and we now have to build 30 units, of which only 4 will be affordable, because remember, the developers don't make money off of that. They make money on the market, housing, sold at market value. So now we're going to be down to, 362 affordable? Meanwhile, we're going to be plus 30 units right there on Valley Brook Avenue. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I haven't seen the plans. They are available down in the construction department for anybody who wants to see them. And the parking, I know, will be underneath. And then which means you're probably going to have a very tall building there to fit 30 units. And I do know, I was informed by the construction department that the developer has already taken out the demo permits. So that house on the corner, the old Vivo's restaurant, and the garages, which used to be a kitchen, a bakery, and behind that, will all be torn down probably very soon. Now, this is the takeaway from all of this. And this is very important. Every time a piece of property goes up for sale, we have to worry that a builder is going to come in and build apartments. Because commercial there's no money in it right now, and probably won't ever be, since now people work remote, so offices are a thing of the past. They're losing value. They're going for tax appeals and winning because, they're not fully occupied, nor will they ever be. So there's nothing left to build except apartments. And because of this affordable housing law, we cannot say no. Now, I know, see, if we had said yes, here's what should have happened originally. We would have said yes to 16 units, or maybe at the time when they came in for 16 units, maybe we could have gotten them down to 14. But it should have been explained to all of the residents who showed up why we can't say no. But instead, the good people on the planning board who all live in this township, and they're good people, and some of them have been serving on that board for many, many, many years. They were there when I was on the Board of Commissioners. They don't want to see these things more than anyone else. But they said no out of fear, when all the residents show up like that, not realizing, of course, that it should have been explained to the public why we can't say no. So this is a teachable moment for all of us to understand what we are facing. And remember, we've got some other projects looming out there. We don't know what they're going to be. We have the Lyndhurst Diner property, which includes the diner, the old Churchill's carpeting next to it, and the house behind it. So you're looking at about an acre there. Now, somebody can come in there. Somebody already bought it a couple of years ago, and they could say, I want to build 150, 200 apartments. And we wouldn't be able to say no. The only thing we could do is negotiate downward. Now, the word that we're getting from the county, because Riverside Avenue is a county road, that it's going to be a quick check, and they first applied to the county because it's a county road to get approvals there. Now, the traffic in that area is horrendous. Supposedly that bridge is going to be closed down and replaced, which I don't know what that's going to lead to. But I'd rather a quick check than a couple of 100 apartment buildings. So we don't know. They haven't made an application yet. Amazingly, they haven't even come in to have a conversation with the construction department. But that's what we're looking at down there. The TD Bank property on New York Avenue. What's that going to be? I don't know. No application's been made yet. So you can see the problem we are facing here, folks. If this continues, and it's not just Lyndhurst, but if it continues, this is going to transform all of these great communities here into cities. Cities. Can you get down Ridge Road during rush hour, especially now that summer will be over? You're better off walking. You're better off using one of those new electric scooters. Now, you start throwing in thousands of new apartments to get to that number of 366. I can't even imagine what's going to happen. Because you have the courts. The courts are determining how we develop our communities, not the legislature, as it should be. And I don't know what the solution to that is. But I think everybody needs to get on their phone and call their representatives, your local state assemblyman and your state senator, and tell them you've got to come up and codify some new type of law. And maybe we'll see in the next administration with the new governor, we'll see what will happen. But right now, it's the courts who are determining what is built in each community, not the communities themselves. And I think that's a darn shame. And I think that's, the other thing is, too, a lot of people are saying, well, why don't we build these 366 affordable units out in the Meadowlands? Well, the problem there is Lyndhurst, even though the Meadowlands region is part of our township, we have zero zoning authority down there. All the warehousing that you see being built and everything else that's being built down there, that's coming through the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority, which is what used to be the New Jersey Meadowlands Commission, which originally had begun as the HMDC back in the late 60s, the Hackensack Meadowlands Development Commission, who was charged by the state when it was created to oversee the closure of the landfills, which thank God took place, but also to handle development. Years ago, they were developing and putting all the office buildings down there. Now those office buildings are being torn down. Half of them are empty. Why? Well, because most people work remote. So they're building warehousing, which, okay, it's big. It's way out there. I don't know how many people ever really drive out there. It's not going to impact the town proper. No children, no drain of services, just warehousing. And we get tax ratables from that. Not at all. Not all of it, but we do. But what about housing? We do have apartments down there that have been built, but I'm told there will be no more apartments being built in the Meadowlands. So that leaves this 1 square mile of town proper, our lovely community that we all know, that is going to be victimized by this urbanization that is being led by the courts. And I think it's a darn shame. I really do. Anyway, not to, this is a positive podcast, but this is realistic. We have to be realistic, and I think everybody needs to understand what we're facing here. Well, on to something I think much brighter and better in terms of what it is, and this is the announcement I said I was going to save for the end. Now, those of you who know me personally, you know that I love to cook. Cooking to me is one of the greatest pastimes, hobbies, loves, joys. And it's not cooking for me. I don't really enjoy cooking for myself. I cook minimally for myself. Instead, I love cooking for others. And I think anybody who loves to cook probably agrees with that. There's nothing better than cooking something lovingly for others, your family, your friends, your neighbors, whoever's in need, especially. And that's the tradition of Lyndhurst, is that when people are on hard times, or if a family suffers a death of a loved one or a sickness, what do? We cook, and we send food, and we cook in love. Now, those of you also who know my family and know that the past 6 months have been not the easiest, that's for sure, having lost my brother back in April, and I can't believe it, that it's been that many months already. And his wife, my sister-in-law, going through her treatments. So I began cooking for her, Karen, and her family, so that on treatment days, that she would nobody would have to worry about dinner. And they shouldn't have to worry about dinner. Because those of you, everybody knows somebody who's gone through cancer. And, on treatment days, you're busy taking your loved one back and forth for the treatments. And at the end of the treatment, depending upon how the treatment goes, some people fare well, some people don't fare well. Some people get very sick. Some people are very tired. And so what do they do for dinner? They either order in or order pizza. And I just didn't think that was right. I feel like at a time like this, people should be having home-cooked meals. So I got a phone call from my friend Pat in town, and who also knows my sister-in-law, and he was asking how she was doing, and I told him what I was doing. And he said to me, Brian, you love to cook. And Pat's also a cancer survivor, thankfully. He said, you should really consider starting some type of charity where you can cook for these people, the cancer victims and their family members, cooking dinners for them so that they don't have to worry about it. They can come home that night and have a home-cooked meal, a home-cooked dinner. Now, the moment, and he said this, I knew he was right. I said that's a brilliant idea, absolutely brilliant. And that was back in June. I began to discuss this idea with many people, and their eyes would widen, and they would all use the same word. They said, "That's brilliant." And then the next thing they would say was, "I want to help." So as a result, I already have people who are volunteering to cook. And, here's how it's going to work. In essence, and we will be applying for a 501c3. That takes a little bit of time, but I'm not going to wait for that. We're going to start it anyway as soon as possible. I'm going to keep it just to Lyndhurst for now because I have no idea where this is going to go. And from the response I'm getting from everybody, I have a feeling this is going to go far. So if I can learn the logistics of how it works to do it in the township of Lyndhurst, then the next thing, we'll be in Rutherford, we'll be in North Arlington. But I want to set up an infrastructure whereby other people, somebody can call from, let's say, some community somewhere and say, hey, I'd like to start this in my own community. And we will already have the infrastructure. I've already had people who are going to be creating the website as well as an app so families can order the dinners off of the app. And the way the charity will work is that we will receive donations that will pay for the food. So we will go purchase the food, whether it's at Restaurant Depot, wherever. And volunteers will cook the dinners. Each person will take a family. Everything is provided for the volunteer. All the volunteer has to do is cook. Of course, we want to make sure the volunteers are good cooks. You may love to do this, but we do want to have the greatest quality meals and be able to give people enough for treatment night and the next night. So if you're getting a treatment on a Monday, then you'll be delivered dinner on Monday, and you'll have enough for Monday and Tuesday. And we're going to create a menu, and on the app, you will be able to choose the dinner. You'll also let us know how many family members are in the household, as well as any dietary restrictions. And the food will be delivered by another volunteer, whoever those volunteers may be. Now, the name of this organization is going to be called Cooking for Cancer. And the subtitle or the tagline will be, "Where every meal is made with love." That's the most important thing. You see, when a meal is made with love, when the person cooking is making it in love for whomever that person is that's going to be receiving that meal, it just tastes better. It seems to be charged almost spiritually with wonderful vibrations, healing and love, and that's exactly what we want, light. We want to do this so that we know that, because everybody's been affected by cancer. If you haven't had cancer yourself, I guarantee you a loved one, a friend, somebody in your world, in your life has been impacted by cancer. And we know that it's a long journey, and it's not always easy. In fact, sometimes it's very, very difficult. So why should they have to worry about cooking dinner on a night like that, on a day like that? That is the vision, folks. Now, if any of you in Lyndhurst, and I have to keep this, as I say, right now, only in Lyndhurst because I don't know what this is going to entail. There's a lot of mechanics and logistics that have to be worked out. And the only way we, who are already in working with this, are going to know is just by doing it. So if you are interested in volunteering, whether to be a chef, and I don't mean you don't have to be a professional chef, but you know what I mean, someone who's a good cook, someone who's known for your cooking, someone who loves to cook, we'll eventually start pairing you with a family. You'll know exactly how often the cancer treatments are, when they take place. You'll be given all the supplies, the food, as well as the containers in which to deliver it. So if you want to be one of those chefs, send me a message. The website's not up. None of this stuff is done yet. It's going to take time because this was all really in the thinking phase. But if you also are someone who would like to volunteer to deliver, and again, for now, this will be in Lyndhurst. If I extend to Rutherford and North Arlington soon, once we get it figured out, I'll be reaching out to people in those communities. But if you're interested, send me a message. You can either message me on Facebook or send it to LyndhurstCommunityNews at gmail.com. And I believe that's going to keep me very busy, that's for sure. But I want that. I like that. I just think it's an idea that's going to grow and expand. And I can foresee, as did my friend Pat, I can foresee this thing growing and expanding from town to town, from state to state, across the country. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to have anything to do with those other areas, but we will provide the foundation and the framework for anyone else who wants to do it. The website will be there, the app will be there, the charity will be set up. So we have to work all those things out. This is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a lot of work, but I feel it's some of the most rewarding work done in love that anybody could possibly do to help others going through something such as cancer treatments and their family loved ones who need to be there focusing on their loved one, not on cooking dinner. All right, well, this was a lengthy show, probably one of the longest we've ever done because there was a lot to report. And, the school's about to begin. Fall is on its way. Officially, it won't be here till the end of September 21st. But after Labor Day, that's it. Kids are back. School's in session. Fall is here. So remember, folks, we'll be back mostly every week. And if you have any news, make sure you send it to us here. Check the description box. And this way you can send us your information. And we will share all of that with all of our listeners here each week. So as I always tell you, don't forget The fire department, our volunteer fire department, always reminds me to remind all of you to check those smoke detectors, check those batteries, or get those new smoke detectors that have the 10-year lithium batteries inside where you don't have to worry about it. Smoke detectors save lives, and every life is valuable. Until next week, this is Brian Haggerty wishing you the very best, saying God bless you all, and God bless our wonderful community. Take care, folks.